Well, I'm very delighted for the university to achieve accreditation from Engineers Australia under the Washington Accord. It really sets the standards of engineering education at the global scale. So what the impact that this has on the reputation of the university is very high. And so our graduates from now on are going to be at equal standards with graduates from other universities from overseas. And it's all about the employability of the graduates. And what accreditation has done is to make sure that we are providing the teaching that is required, and mostly it is engaging the students one-to-one with the lecturer, making sure that students are talking about what they have learned, students are presenting what they have learned. And so this achievement has really impacted the performance of the university in terms of the education that is provided. And then at the global stage, our graduates are ready to be employed by industry, not only in Papua New Guinea, but overseas as well. And so that is the level at which university has risen to be recognized internationally.
The challenges were too many because this, as you know, this is the first time that we are undergoing accreditation, especially for the engineering programs in the Pacific region, especially other than Australia and New Zealand. So it's been a lot of challenges, and we faced the curriculum development and the equipment itself, because our equipments were very old. So we had to get all the new equipments for all the subjects, for all 5 engineering programs. And then the other challenges were the operational challenges, so how to properly implement process of checking quality. And then also there was sustainability factor, that how we can sustain this once we get accreditation. We had to continually, it's a continuous improvement process. So these are the major challenges, I can say, that we have to go through and solve it as we went through the process.
We had a strategic plan 5 years ago, strategic plan 2020 to 2024. And our vision was to be a world-class university. And when I talk about world-class, I'm not talking about brick and mortar. I'm really talking about the quality of the education that we are delivering from here. And what happened was the Institute of Engineers Papua New Guinea, they visited the university. They have members that are working in industry, big world-class companies like ExxonMobil, Como Petroleum, and so on. And they wanted their graduates to be work-ready, employable, and so wanted the degrees to be accredited to global standards. So we started the work to put in objectives in place and give targets to the engineering departments to make sure that they progress towards accreditation. We consulted professors from overseas who have experience in accreditation process, and they guided us. At the same time, we also had other objectives towards our financial capacity to get our finances audited, and then we also had to plan our finances so that we are supporting the funding requirements to buy new equipment, to recruit new staff, and build our academic capacity. And so that was the plans and objective we set in place 5 years ago. And then after 5 years, we got the Engineers Australia to come and assess our programs. Of course, the consultant really gave us a good work plan on how lectures should be delivered, on what students should be assessed on, what teaching practice should be engaged with the students, what equipment were needed, how we could renovate our facilities and upgrade them. And so all of this was put in the work plans for each of the departments. The heads of the schools, they formed the executive committee and they started to work on these strategies. And at the beginning of last year, Engineers Australia, they came and they said, we will wait upon you. You will tell us when you are ready and then we will come and make an assessment. And we didn't. I mean, they gave us the opportunity and we could have prolonged and said, no, let's do it in 2025 or something like that. But we agreed to just, face the challenge, come in September, do an assessment, and whatever mark you give us, as long as we know where we are. And they came, and December 18 last year, there was an announcement from Engineers Australia that our courses were fully accredited.
I came in 2017. That time, just the initiation was done, and 2018, I think we were asked to attend several workshops for the subject mapping, particularly subject outline development. There we did this mapping, we developed the subject learning outcomes. Then gradually we learned how to do the mappings of the subject learning outcome with the course learning outcome, then mapping with the Engineers Australia Stage 1 competencies. Gradually we also made the assessment plans, because earlier assessment, there were a huge number of assessments, so number of assessment also reduced, so that the students can get more exposure or to the critical thinking, or more student-centric, you can say, assessment will be done. So, and gradually, once we finished the development of this subject learning, our subject outlines, then the program was rolled, and 2019 it was rolled, and I think we got this full accreditation 2024. This is the process we test, and the review, everything is going on like that.
The accreditation process had prompted us to hard look on our infrastructure. Eventually, for our laboratory, we had to improve it. We have to find a new ways to, in terms of the technology, including laboratory that will reflect modeling. So those were the ones that we have. It's not just only laboratory space. It is the way we choose the right tools for that, and also those can be competitive in the industry.
I think with the accreditation, in terms of the assessment, the criteria that is employed in the assessment, it didn't change really much. But in terms of providing feedback, building up files, making sure that marking rubrics are in order, so that students are aware of how their assessments, their work will be marked. And then also in terms of the feedback, putting out the continuous assessment, and then the overall exam. I think it helped us to improve in that aspect. Also, another thing that came about is in terms of the 4 subjects per semester. Previously, prior to the review of the curriculum and the accreditation exercise, we had more than 4 subjects per semester. Like in the first year, students end up taking 6, 7 subjects. Or even in the final year, students will end up taking more subjects. And then they will also have to sit for more exams, right? Then sometimes we see that students are just starting to pass the exams, and there's no quality time given to them to actually sit down and then study the material and understand. So we were actually looking at increasing the quantity in terms of the content, the subject matter, but then increase the quality in terms of the assessment. That was brought in by the accreditation exercise.
Let me take this opportunity to firstly thank the Institute of Engineers Papua New Guinea for introducing the concept at the university. They had graduates who were members of the institute who were employed in industry. Industry expressed concern that we would like to see our graduates educated to the standards. They came to the university, they spoke to the management, and then we agreed to put in place a process. So we also introduced the Industry Advisory Board, made of representatives from the big companies and the institute. And the first chairman was a rep from ExxonMobil, who did very well to guide us and set up connections with the Washington Accord, those who were managing Washington Accord, and then Engineers Australia. We engaged a consultant in guiding us along the whole process, Professor Boulen. He came to the university several times to make sure that our curriculum was internationally accredited, made sure that our equipment were upgraded and the facilities all renewed. So I thank Professor Boulen for that guidance. After the ExxonMobil moved on, we appointed the representative from Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, Dr. Luke Liria, to be the chairman. And this fellow really took it to his heart that this accreditation process must continue. Let me say the change is not so easy. While we had a strategic plan to make sure that everything was achieved, not everything was flowing well. Some of the engineering departments were struggling to accept the change, and we had to sit down and work through them and work through the change. Funding was not so easy. We needed millions of kina to buy new equipment, and so I would like to thank the university as well. We paid 8 million kina to buy new equipment, and I take my hat off to Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, who gave 4.5 million kina to help buy the rest of the equipment for the university. And so my heartfelt thanks to Kumul Petroleum, to Mr. Papua, the CEO of Kumul Petroleum, for supporting Dr. Luke Liria for what he had to do, make sure that all the executive committee of the engineers were on par with their responsibilities. I also want to acknowledge the deans of engineering. We had 3 deans of engineering who served as deans and who passed away during the duty as deans of engineering. So late Professor Pumwa, late Dr. Kavi, and late Dr. Apa. They served concurrently, and apparently they passed away on duty, and we honor them as well. And then the rest of the engineering staff who held on to make sure that progress was made at the various stages of the accreditation process. And the staff and students of this university, the professors, who really supported that process going along. So I take my hat off to the other companies that were supporting Octedi. They were also active members of the Industry Advisory Board, and they also contributed. The rest of the companies that were members of the Industry Advisory Board committed about 1.6 million kina to the whole process. And so that was Octedi, Wafi Golpu Joint Venture, the Kainan 2 Mines, and Newcrest and Harmony as well, oil sets that became Santos. These were all companies that contributed effectively to driving the accreditation process along. And so we are going to have a big celebration on June 30, unveil the accreditation monument. Many of the industries have been invited, they are coming, government entities as well. The bilaterals and multilaterals are also coming. And this will be a time where we don't only celebrate but make connections with these partners and continue to develop programs in the university to address national issues and issues in the Pacific as well. May I also say that following June 30 on 1, 2, and 3 July, there will be a Pacific Islands Universities Research Network Conference. It will be held at the university. So all the Vice Chancellors of the Pacific Islands will be gathering, and we will continue to focus on the academic demands for training and research within the Pacific.